Let's look at how to draw this displacement diagram in CAD. So I've started out with a line that's 3 inches high right here and a line that's 12 inches long right here. Now I could use the divide command, and I don't know if you know about that one. It's a draw command, so it's under here. And it's one of these, that one right there. The other one is measure, which is related. Divide gives you evenly spaced points on a line. So let's try that with our vertical line. Divide, select object to divide. Okay, I'll select this one. Enter number of segments. I'll enter 3. And it has divided that line. You may not be able to see what it has done. It has put some point functions, 3 point functions on that line. And how do you know that? 2 ways. One, in your object snaps, those points are a thing called node. So if you turn on your node point function, OSNAP, and you try to draw a line, looky there, there's a node right there, ta-da, and there's another node right there. Even though you can't see them, they're invisible, they're there. Another thing you could do, I think it's up here under Utilities, there's a thing called Point Style. And you could select a style that you want. So for example, we could do that thing. And now it puts those things on the line. Those will not be visible when you plot. They're, I believe, they're display functions on the screen. So that's one thing you could do. Let me get out of there. Another thing you could do, I got out my calculator and I thought, okay, this horizontal line represents 360 degrees, our cam making one full revolution. So if 12 inches is 360 degrees, how much is 180 degrees? It's half that far. It's 6 inches. How far is 30 degrees? It's 1 inch. Now, how can you do that without mental math? Well, you could say 360 divided by, 30 divided by 360, and multiply that times 12, and that'll give you 1 inch. And then likewise, it turns out that 20 degrees, which you need later on in your graph, is 2/3 of an inch. You could get cool and maybe make, I thought about doing this, you could make a line that's 6 inches long and use the divide function to put points on it every 30 degrees, and then you could make a separate line for the section that is from 210 to 330 and divide that into 6. Or you could, once you figure out where these things need to occur, you could draw a line that long. There's the 120 degrees, let's say, and then you could divide that one and then run lines up. I wound up just using offset to make these lines every 1 inch or every 2/3 of an inch. So let's go up now. I have already laid out my lines here, just in the interest of saving time. And now what our instructions say is that our graph is going to rise 3 inches in modified constant velocity for the first 180 degrees, and it's going to be modified to 1/3 the displacement. What the heck? In other words, well, let's just draw this. Now, I have used the dimension layer to make these grid lines because I want them to be thin. I'm going to use the object layer for drawing my actual graph line because I want it to be thick. So what I will do now is I will make two circles. One of them will be centered here at the start, so it's tangent at the bottom of the graph, and the other one will be here at the top. And now I will draw a line. First I will turn off ortho. I like to use F8 to turn it off. And now I will get a line, and if the tangent O-snap doesn't show up, did you know that you can hold Shift right mouse and this temporary menu will come up from which you can select exactly the O-snap you want, tangent. So there's my deferred tangent. It doesn't know tangent from where yet. Now I'll go up to the other line, and if my tangent doesn't show up again, I will hold Shift right mouse and pick tangent again. Right there. Okay, so now I want to trim these lines. I want, and it says select cutting edges. What lines are you going to use as your cutters? If I just hit enter right here, every blasted line on the drawing would be a cutter and it would take forever. So I'm going to use my straight line and my two vertical edges, and that's it. Enter. Let's see if this works. Yes, and now I can erase my leftover circles. Oh, damn it. Sorry. Excuse me. Let me try again. I want to trim just that much and just that much. Okay, there we go. It looks like I still have a tail here. So I need to trim out that one. All right. You can see that this modified curve is not very pronounced, but it does give us an on-ramp and an off-ramp for our modified constant velocity. Now we're going to dwell for 30 degrees, and what that means is that from this top of our graph line, we're going to go over 30 degrees in a horizontal direction. There we go. Now, this may be hard to see, but how about if we go down here to our line weight display and show the line weight? It will make the thick line look thicker than the thin lines. I wish it weren't turning on the green lines. You can kind of see the blue line light up there. Oh, look here. And it also showed up a leftover tail there. All right. Now, what have we got? Maybe I will be cool and turn on construction lines so that I can have lines I can turn off later on. Now, I'm going to come over to this end. I'm interested in making my sine curve, and it's going to fall from 210 over to 330. So I'll start drawing lines from my circle over to my grid lines that I already drew in. Okay, now, Did I do something wrong? Yes, I did. I need to extend every blasted one of those one more space. Rats. Oh well. Now, I could use a spline. I have a hard time getting that to work right when I'm doing a curve that I want to end right flat at the top and bottom. So, with your permission, I'm going to draw a polyline and then use a fit afterwards. Oops, I need to get back on the object layer. I'm going to use a polyline, or PL for short. And I'll just snap to each of these intersection points. And now, those are straight line segments. I don't want that. So now I'm going to do polyline edit, or P-edit for short. I'll select the polyline. The option I want is fit, or F for fit. And there's my nice line. So it's a little bit lumpy, but it's okay. And then I'll do one more section for the dwell from 330 to the end. And now I can leave my construction lines on, or I could freeze them if I don't want to see them. Either way would be fine. And now, just to check out, yep, there is my graph line looking reasonable. I think I'm done. This is just a tool for me, the designer. The shop will never see this tool. One more thing to say. If you don't have this line weight display button in your toolbar, or any other button that you want that you can't find, over here in the lower right corner, what they call the hamburger, the stack of menu list things, if you click on that hamburger, up pops a list of all the icons that you could have in your taskbar down there. And notice that line weight is checked because I do have that button. If there are other buttons that you would like to have down there, you can choose them. And if you don't want one of these, you can uncheck it and it will go away. But I think I'm reasonably happy here with my graph. So I'm going to, what else am I going to do? I'm going to save. I should have done that before. It's been 15 minutes. That's as much time as I want to lose. So save. All right. Then later on, we'll use this to make our CAM working drawing.